If you're a man who wants to have peak natural testosterone levels, or if you've been thinking about taking testosterone, then you need to know what actually happens to your body when you take external testosterone. So in this video, I'm going to explain the science of how taking testosterone impacts a man's body using clear, simple language. And this video could save you years of hardship, so be sure to watch the whole thing, because I'm going to show you the realities of taking testosterone that your doctors or your friends who are on TRT have not told you. Men's testosterone levels are plummeting in our society, and they're down an average of 37% and as much as 50% across all age groups compared to just 30 years ago. And I can't overstate how bad of a problem this is for our society and potentially for the future of the human race. The most common solution you'll find to this endemic of low testosterone is to just take testosterone and then all your problems will be solved. But what most people don't know is that taking external or exogenous testosterone means that your natural internal or endogenous testosterone production shuts down. And it doesn't just come right back when you stop taking the testosterone. In fact, it doesn't come back at all for some men, depending on how long that they were taking testosterone injections. And nearly every man who takes testosterone was never told that by his doctor. The doctor just assumes that this man is going to take testosterone injections for the rest of his life. So they don't bother telling the patient that he's being handed a life sentence of testosterone injections. So the reason taking testosterone shuts down your endogenous production is that the hypothalamus in your brain senses that there's plenty of testosterone and plenty of estrogen in your bloodstream, so it doesn't release a hormone called gonadotropin-releasing hormone, or GnRH. GnRH tells your pituitary to release luteinizing hormone and follicle-stimulating hormone. And those are what tell the testicles to make testosterone. So when the hormones LH and FSH stop being sent to the testes, they stop producing testosterone, and they also produce much less sperm. And that can lead to fertility problems. Even worse, after a while of not being used for testosterone production, the testicles will actually shrink and atrophy because they don't have a job to do anymore. Now, compounds like HCG can mitigate the shrinkage, but they don't eliminate it completely. And the FDA has been making it a lot harder for men to get HCG lately. So if you take testosterone, you very quickly become completely dependent on that external testosterone injection. And that means you're stuck as a big pharma customer for the rest of your life. In a sense, they've got you by the cojones, because now they're in control of the testosterone that your own testes could and should be producing for you. Because let's face it, big pharma does not care about your health. They only care about profits and keeping you coming back to them over and over again for the rest of your life. And that's the best case scenario. What happens if a supply chain shortage hits and suddenly you can't buy your testosterone for the month? Well, your ability to naturally produce testosterone is completely shut down and you're in trouble. So why does a man usually take testosterone in the first place? Well, for some men, it's because they want to build more muscle more quickly. So these aspiring bodybuilders usually start off by doing cycles of testosterone and other steroids, and they'll take them for 10 or 12 weeks. Then they'll take a break and try to get their natural testosterone production to recover and come back online. But each time they do a cycle, their endogenous testosterone production doesn't recover fully. And that means their natural testosterone levels get lower and lower over time. And eventually they end up making themselves hypogonadal from the steroid use. And at that point, they have to take replacement doses of testosterone in between the bigger cycles of their steroid use. And they can't just recover their natural testosterone production anymore because they've completely shut down their endocrine system and their testicles. So the reality of steroid use is that it leads to being totally dependent on exogenous testosterone, even when the user isn't on a full steroid cycle. For some men, it only takes 2 or 3 cycles of steroids for them to hit that point. Other men are able to get away with more cycles before they hit that state of being permanently shut down. But it almost always happens with enough testosterone and steroid use over time. Now, the reason most men start taking testosterone is because their natural testosterone production has slowly diminished over time. This was happening silently in the background for years, but a man doesn't usually get a blood test to check his hormones until his libido has vanished, because that's always a pretty big wake-up call for a man. So his doctor runs a hormone panel and finds out that he has low testosterone. And for a lot of men, this is the first time they've ever thought about their testosterone level, which is pretty sad because they could have taken action a lot sooner and raised their testosterone levels naturally if they only knew that they needed to be paying attention to it. Well, since the standard of care in allopathic medicine is that a man with low libido and low testosterone is supposed to be put on testosterone replacement, that's what his doctor tells him to do. But his doctor doesn't tell him that he'll be permanently shutting down his natural endogenous testosterone production and that he could become infertile. He just tells him this is the solution to your erectile dysfunction. But another thing his doctor doesn't tell him is that a lot of men still experience low libido and ED problems even when they're taking testosterone. So a lot of men on TRT are also on drugs like Cialis to maintain their sexual function, which in my opinion is an absolute crime because those men didn't even need to be put on testosterone in the first place. What they needed was an overhaul of their health from the ground up, but doctors can't do that for patients because it takes too much time. So if your libido is low or your testosterone is low, you need to start asking yourself the right questions so you can take the right actions. The question shouldn't be, how can I just increase my testosterone levels while leaving everything else in my life the same? You need to ask yourself, why is my testosterone low and how can I fix it naturally? So to fix low testosterone naturally, you need to take a holistic health perspective on your body. Your diet, your lifestyle, your exercise, your sleep, your sun exposure, your supplements, and your overall health all need to be addressed. This is what I show my clients how to do, and this is why we get lasting results. You need to think of your body as a system of systems that all interact with each other. So if your endocrine system isn't producing testosterone, ask yourself, why is that happening? What micronutrients are you lacking? Well, probably most of them. And why are you lacking micronutrients? Probably because your diet and your supplements aren't on point. And taking a multivitamin and a bunch of D3 while eating the standard American diet does not qualify as being on point. So I've covered this in other videos, but most supplements are not just ineffective, they're actually toxic. Then you add in the toxicity of the standard American diet and things get even worse. I talk to so many men who just don't know what to eat and they don't know how to structure their diet. They're just eating a ton of carbs, they're eating way too little protein, and they're eating a lot of bad fats from seed oils. And I get it. I used to eat like that too because that's the standard American diet, but the standard American man's health is in the gutter along with his testosterone levels. And I've been there. So if you want to be an exceptional man and if you want to defy the norm, then you need to do things that the average man isn't doing. And when the average man gets diagnosed with low testosterone, he usually just takes exogenous testosterone shots to sort of fix the problem. But none of the reasons for why he had low testosterone in the first place have actually been fixed. When you take a holistic health approach to your testosterone levels, when you know the right actions to take and the right order to do them in, then all of your body's systems and your overall health are going to get dramatically better. And then from that vastly improved state of health, your testosterone levels and your energy levels will just get better and better. So I'm on a mission to keep men from signing up for the life sentence of taking testosterone replacement, because most of the men who end up on TRT never needed it in the first place. TRT should really be viewed as an absolute last resort for the vast majority of men, because fixing your diet, your lifestyle, your supplement and your exercise habits are going to restore your natural testosterone output back to youthful levels. Now, the only exceptions to this are for a very small percentage of men whose pituitary gland has been damaged, which causes it to stop sending luteinizing hormone and follicle-stimulating hormone to the testicles. For everyone else, instead of just taking testosterone and staying unhealthy, it's so much better to restore your health and restore your testosterone levels naturally. It takes work and dedication, but it's far more sustainable than TRT, and that's why I teach my clients how to do it the natural way. So right now at age 48, my all-natural endogenously produced testosterone is at 1,196 nanograms per deciliter. Now my next goal is to hit 1,228 nanograms per deciliter, because that's going to put me at 4 times the testosterone that I had at my lowest point 10 years ago, when I was at just 307 nanograms per deciliter. And so what am I doing to hit this goal? Well, I'm doing all the things that I've already been doing. My diet, my sleep, my exercise, my daily movement, my sun exposure, and my supplements are all on point. So I'm living proof that your health and your testosterone levels can be restored naturally, and so are my clients. So if you're thinking about going on TRT, I urge you to reconsider. You'll feel vastly better if you do it naturally, because you'll be rejuvenating your entire body and you won't just be focusing on testosterone and ignoring the rest of your health. And the next time someone you know tells you that you'll feel great if you just get on TRT, well, now you'll know better. So now that you know what happens when you take testosterone and why you shouldn't, here's a video on how to double or triple your testosterone levels naturally. And it has information you're definitely gonna need, so be sure to check it out.